Coming up next on Racespot TV will be Monday Night Skippies as we head to Interlagos for round number 8. Join us in just a few moments. Round number 8 at Interlagos for Monday Night Skippies here on Racespot TV. Back again for another Monday, and it's Rachel Whiteford, Connery Maddock joining you live trackside for all the action. Qualifying is underway, and Connery, well, this track is tight, it's twisty, and we've had a spanner thrown in the works. Whether it was intentional or not, we are not sure, but we have got a pit stop set in this race. We don't know whether these guys know how to make pit stops. Let's not forget, in the Skippy official series, it doesn't exactly happen. So do you think they know how to, go down pit road and refuel and do all those other things?
Yeah, it's certainly unusual in these Skip Barber cars, Rachel. I know in the 2K series that run Skip Barbers, they have races that you do have to have a pit stop sometimes, but we've never had it in official series, and we've never had it in the Monday Night Skippy. So that should certainly be an interesting element that your drivers have to deal with that they perhaps might not have experienced before in these cars.
That's certainly true, Connery. And well, as we get ready to go towards the end of qualifying, the drivers have done exactly what they needed to do at this stage. And we are now ready to go look at our championship standings first of all, because things are beginning to get interesting. Standings should be there for you. Of course, Tom Ward leading the way, 176 points. Clark Williams in second with 107. Yep, 69-point lead for Tom Ward. That is quite significant. And, wow, that's pretty much in the bag for him, should a meteor not fall in his house, because very big margin. But something we were talking about just before the break, Connery, was if we look at the incident stats for these drivers, we can't really pop that one up for you on the screen, but Stuart Adcock, 84 incidents, Tom Ward, 76, and he's leading the championship. And it's the likes of Steve Hefford and Robert Plumley. How can two of our fastest drivers have the most points?
I think it may be because they're slightly abusing the off tracks, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. They haven't been involved in all that many incidents, so that one is definitely up for questioning right there. But the battle for second, third, and fourth, though, in your championship between Clark Williams, Fahim Antoniades, and Stuart Adcock is very, very close. There is 1 point between Fahim Antoniades and Stuart Adcock for third and fourth place, so there's still things to watch when this championship draws to a close in a couple of races' time, but we're only just past the midway point right now, so not too soon.
We certainly are, and well, we're going to have a quick look at your qualifying results. They are in the books. Let's have a look. Starting on pole for tonight's race, Tom Ward with a 1 minute 50.098, nearly cracking that 1 minute 50 barrier. Behind him, Fahim Antoniades will start in second place, Mick Watson in third, with Mark Turner in the fourth place, Ben Daniels in fifth, Richard Bagshaw in sixth place, Robert Plumley, Andy Cowie, Steve Hefford and Stuart Mathers, your top 10. And we have got a very big grid tonight, Connery. We're looking at about 42 drivers, I think, in the all.
Yes, we are, and that is going to cause some unique issues coming through the Senna S's on the first lap. They'll all have to file through there pretty much single file very, very quickly, or they risk getting into a couple of incidents. Same could be said for the tight and twisty middle sector as well, but I think this track can produce some great side-by-side racing, especially in the slow corners of the middle sector. It'll be a draft fest coming down the straights, but it's a track of two halves, basically.
A track of two halves. Wow, did you actually just say that?
I did.
We're not match of the day, Connery. We don't talk about games of two halves, and it's actually a track of three sectors if we want to be pedantic.
Yeah, if you want to be technical, yes.
Of course we want to be technical, we're doing racing commentary, but we'll move forwards. Of course, we're going to head to the grid in just a second's time, and it is a big field. We've got some big names, of course. Stuart Hancock not showing up in today's qualifying, so we will not be getting... Actually, no, he is. He's down in the 23rd spot, so unusually out of place for him. Not doing so well, we think. But, as we mentioned, there is a pit stop coming. The fuel is limited, and that is going to provide a massive spanner in the works for this one. So we'll have to see these guys come down pit road. It's 12-lap race tonight. We're expecting them to come on roughly lap number 7. Engines beginning to rev as we get ready to start this one. Onboard not yet on the grid. But let's not forget, the Senna S's in turn number 1 here. Very, very tricky location. One that's going to provide us with a lot of agony. We'll have to hope these guys can get through there very, very cleanly indeed. Antonides with a great starting spot for tonight's one. LJ Garnett saying hello to us in the YouTube chat. Yep, you're not on the track. I'm disappointed, LJ, but, well, what can we do? Tom Ward waiting for the prima donna himself to take his grid slot. Of course, always one of the last to grid, Connery.
Yes, he is, and there's for him. There he goes. There is Tom Ward in his skip barber car just before the start finish line in that first grid spot right there. The field extends all the way back. Remember, this is quite a unique front straight. It goes up and down the hill, so ready for the green flag, Rachel.
And yeah, of course, don't forget, your drivers will have to hold the brake actually on this start-finish line if they want to hold the clutch in for their start, because otherwise they'll roll backwards. And it's a jump start whether you go forwards or backwards. So engines will rev. Lights go on the iRacing.com gantry, and we are green flag at Interlagos. Great start by Tom Ward. Antonides on the inside line will get a good run as well. Mick Watson has been building his performance. It's a very defensive early move by Tom Ward. He comes across to the left there to defend against Antonides, looking at the inside for turn 1. They'll be side by side through the first corner. But Ward will have the preferred line. But not for the next corner, as Antonides held it alongside for him. Antonides too wide through the Senna S's to start this one, and a fantastic run down behind them. The field's coming through fairly well until we look further back, and they've decided to crash already. As we'll have a look at what actually caused this one. It was a little bit further forward from Kip Stevens, I believe, as I think it was Rick Scott possibly involved in that one, but no, the 4v2 of Boise Wild was involved in that one there. We've got a replay for you, along with a couple of other cars, as some contact was made for the back of your field. We'll head back towards the front though, and it's still a very close one here. Tom Ward from Antonides battling hard up through turn 7 and 8 here as they'll go too wide yet again. Antonides taking very good lines here, Connery, putting himself where he needs to be, but Tom Ward not giving up yet.
Yeah, as they take it side by side, that was through Pinarino, coming up to Pico de Pato, Hugo, there's Antonides getting the back end though. He's done that quite a few times already on his first lap. There goes Tom Ward wide as well as they come through. Majulio right now on the run up to Juncao, which is one of the final corners here on this lap of Interlagos. There's Mick Watson very, very close behind, but a few scary moments there for Antonides. And well, I was just going to go back to Hugo, our director, who is Brazilian, is probably cringing. That's how I pronounce some corner names.
I think he probably will be. Connery, of course. Big draft track here on the front stretch at Interlagos. As a defensive line by Tom Ward very early on. He wants to make sure he has the inside line for Senna S's. Antonides are looking to go right around the outside. Mick Watson will take a look as well here, as he will see if he can get an opportunity, but nothing will open up for him. Behind him, of course, Mark Turner, Ben Daniels, Robert Plumley in this first group. They've pulled away slightly from the likes of Steve Hefford, Stuart McFadden.
Oh, plumbing around, Curva del Sol. Oh, and he collects another car, Hefford. Yes. Hefford straight into the wall hard.
That was Plumley, and we'll take a quick look on the replay. What happened here? And it was a mistake by, I believe, the number 35 car of Ben Daniels. Daniels gets on the grass, can't help rejoining the track, clips Plumley, turns him round, picks Plumley up and catches Hefford. Hefford practically flies, no real contact, into the barrier. That'd be a big hit for him. And it's early disappointment for Robert Plumley and Ben Daniels. Mistake getting on the grass, braking doesn't really work there, Connery. We'll look back to the front, and Antonides has cleared Tom Ward. He's now playing the defensive game.
Yes, he is, as they come onto the brakes into this right-hander. You can abuse the curbs a little bit right there. Coming through the left-hander, that is Pillarino. Fahim Antonides still in front, and it's going to be that case again of where do you want to be coming out of Junção. As Fahim Antonides, he's getting that back end out almost every single corner. I haven't really seen many people do that before and still be up front, but there we go.
When we look at the weather conditions, it's pretty standard actually, pretty close to default conditions, so not particularly cold or hot. These cars should be behaving themselves, of course, a little bit down on power. We are at quite an altitude here, about 3,000 feet I believe for Sao Paulo, so it does make the engines run a little bit cleaner than perhaps they would want to. Antonides will be out front from Tom Ward. Now it's Antonides this time to play defensive here on the front stretch. He'll do what he can to hold Tom Ward's charging friction racing machine back. Nick Watson trailing behind him, as is I think that's Stuart McFadden actually back there behind him as well. Mark Turner. Antonides has held the lead for the longest so far as we're on lap number 3, Connor. We'll look a bit further back in your running order. We've got a couple of cars actually on pit road. A few cars coming in now to get their stops over with. Most guys will come in, we believe, on lap number 7 of 12. That really kind of leaves us a 4 lap to run to the end as it's too wide for your lead, Antonides and Ward. Some guys coming in here on 3 and 4 to fuel up, so perhaps a smarter decision to do it now. Get out of traffic and run clean.
Yeah, that could be the idea that they have. I'm not entirely sure of the fuel economy as these skip by cars, because usually we don't really have to consider pit stops in this series. So interesting to see that some drivers are going for the early pit stop, like perhaps trying to avoid traffic, like you say, Rachel. As we look at this top 5, if you can include Stuart McFadden, they are all in a very close train right now. Leader of the next pack down is actually Andy Cowie, so a newcomer to this series, I believe, in that 222 car, running very, very well right now.
Certainly are, as this one is still all to play for. Mick Watson could definitely be a contender at this moment in time. All the marbles there on the outside of the run down to this final corner, Connery. Huge amount of marbles on the track from practice. Look what else we've got going on in your field, any big battles. We actually have got one here, and it's around Alan Patterson. He was just involved there with Christopher Robinson. That's the 14, the 8 and the 33 car. Rick Scott following them. One still a very active little fight there as from behind the 147 machine. That is Plumley trying to fight his way back here. He's caught up to Patterson, so he's going to try and work his way back forwards after that big shunt he had, of course. Lost Richard Bagshaw. He's retired from this one. We'll look a bit further forward. Oh, Patrick Fairbanks side by side here. The 109 was running alongside Brian Loynes. Bill Fraser behind the pair of them. He wants to get involved in this one, but Patrick Fairbanks will make that move forwards. Locked him up into 10th place there. Up ahead of them. Stuart Adcock's been a mover so far. Qualified 23rd. He's in 8th already. So a big movement by Adcock. Huge, huge improvement. Ahead of him, Mathers and Cowie looking to be his next 2 victims, Connery.
Yes, Stuart Adcock already up. That is a total of 15 places right now, and on lap 4 of the motor race, that is a huge amount of places to be gaining as he makes his way down the inside of Andy Cowie. That is an extra position that he's gained now, so now up to 16 positions gained. Can he make it 17 positions gained if he gets past Stuart Mathers?
To see whether he can do just that, but we'll have to have a quick flick back towards the lead where it's Antonides and Ward yet again. And Tom Ward is in the front this time on lap number 4. Of course, the pit stop will make strategy different this time, Connery. We know when some guys are coming in, but this is going to be a huge thing, of course. It will really affect this battle because it could break these leaders up.
It could well do that, and if you get caught out on your own after the pit stops, you wouldn't have any of that draft to help you. Tom Ward goes wide into the grass, manages to keep it pointed in the same direction.
Has killed his momentum, Connery.
Absolutely killed his momentum coming through the final corner right here. He's going to suffer all the way down this straight into the entry to the Senna S's, and he's going to come under threat from Mark Turner and the young Scotsman of Stuart McFadden here potentially. Will they take it 3 wide? There's 2x2 for the race lead right there as well. We will go 2 and 3 wide coming down the pit straight right here. Stuart McFadden, big beneficiary of that one. He's challenging for 2nd place now.
Huge one there. Tom Ward really debated throwing up the middle of that 3 wide and trying to get past them all, but Mathers kind of closed him off there on the inside. Connery is through to the front. Is Mick Watson leading Monday Night Skippies for the first time, or one of the first times at least from what we've seen, as Antonides will run in 2nd, Mathers in 3rd. Though they're looking to the inside now. Tom Ward's going to try and take that spot as he will go up the inside. Can Mathers hold him on? Oh, Stuart McFadden, sorry, can hold him on the outside. I think that is. It is at the 53 car of McFadden. The Apex Academy machine of Mathers behind them there. That's the green, white and grey car. Red Bull car, of course, being McFadden. Blue and black is, of course, our familiar Antonides machine. Red and black, Watson. As Tom Ward going to try and make that move there on McFadden, he'll get it done. We kind of expected that though, Connery. He's one of the faster drivers. We expected him to recover, but he's 2 spots down now from the top position. Would it be a good call to pit and get it done, or is he going to want to wait for somebody else for the draft potential?
That's a question that your drivers definitely have to be considering. I'm not too sure which option is the best one right now. Again, this is the first time we've ever had pit stops during this Monday Night Skippies race, so it's all very experimental right now, but I just want to come back to Stuart McFadden. He's running pretty well right now. He's qualified in 11th. He's up to 4th, so that's a net gain of 7 places, and he's running with these top guys fairly well, so he could be one to watch. And also Mark Turner, he's also tagged onto the back of this group now as well, as we have side-by-side racing between the number 52 Stuart Adcock and Stuart Mathers. I think that was just Stuart Mathers getting back past Adcock.
I think it was actually. The draft is that powerful, and he's managed to get through before turn 1. Nice clean pass there. Adcock will have to try and find his way past again. Going to try and do that as we look for the 109 is headed into the pits now. That was Patrick Fairbanks. He's dove in for his stop. This is something we're not used to covering, Connery. We're not used to actually thinking about pit stops in this series, of course.
Yeah, indeed, as you have side-by-side for the race lead yet again. That was Fahim Antonides going down the inside. He gets massive amounts of oversteer, though. He has to run wide. Luckily, there's a good amount of runoff there, and it's not grass, but the Tom Ward now has the run. He's going to make it... Oh, try and squeeze it on the right-hand side right here. Coming down to Ferradura as he gets the back end out as well. Oh my god, these guys are getting the back ends out wildly coming through these corners right here, but they all managed to keep it together right now as we're coming up to pit stops for your front few. There's a bit of a tongue twister, we suspect.
You know, the last time I heard somebody mention backside that often, Connery, it was Will Vincent reading about Rob Gronkowski, so we'll leave that there. But it's Fahim Antonides on the lead right now, with behind him Tom Ward and Mick Watson. Then it's Stuart McFadden, Mark Turner, Stuart Mathers, Stuart Adcock, Andy Cowie, Brian Loynes and Bill Fraser, your top 10. Bill Fraser up in the top 10 for the first time in a while. It's great to see him up there. Mark Fisher behind him. That's the yellow and blue machine you can see behind the 16 of Fraser. Carter Monstrosity is actually finding its way into the top 10 for the first time in quite a long time. Patrick Fairbanks, of course, he's been in the pit road. He's done his stop. Keep an eye on him, of course. But the action is Adcock is going to make a move. 52 of Adcock. As from behind him, Cowie will pit at the same time. Adcock will clear the car there of Stuart Mathers on the run towards turn 1. Exactly the mirror of what Mathers did to him the last time by Connery. And further forwards, well, it's still on here. Ward's got to the front now. The draft on the front stretch means he's now ahead of Antonides. But look at the run Antonides has. Have a look towards turn number 4.
Yes, he will, or maybe not. He does back out that one, but we have a huge amount of cars down pit road. Mick Watson, Andy Cowie, Ben Daniels, Matt Cox, Chris Bassett, Darrell Taylor, Aaron Patterson. So this is lap 7, so some of your drivers did decide for the race that this will be a good time to pit, but some of your front runners, Tom Ward, Fahim Antonides, Stuart McFadden, they have all stayed out at least the one extra lap here, so we'll have to see how that works out for them.
Certainly will, and as it's looking very positive at the front. We've got a big battle here with some drivers who perhaps not been around this top position before. Stuart McFadden looking like he could sneak a podium if this one works. Of course, lap 7 here, this is where we expect these guys to have to pit, so this will make things very interesting. Will they all pit this time by? Adcock is still ahead of Stuart Mathers, so those guys will have to do something now. We know Mathers is about to head to pit road, so that's going to be a break in this fight. Well, Adcock can come as well. Now he knows his competitor is. Well, that would be a good opportunity to have someone to draft with. They are only 5 seconds behind the leaders, and how much fuel you're taking here could make a big difference. We'll look back to the front. Who will come from our top 3? Ward, Antonides and McFadden. Who will come down pit road this time by? Antonides ducks to the inside. He's going to go for it as well, and so will McFadden. They both duped Tom Ward and left him out there on his own. This could be critical, Connery.
Ooh.
2 of them working together versus Ward on his own. This could have just cost Tom Ward the race.
Sorry if you just heard what the strange noise coming out of my
everyone's
mouth
come in.
was. That
Adcock
was...
as well, as so has Mathers and Loynes. So everyone diving down this time by. More cars coming behind them. Bill Fraser, Mark Fisher. Now McGinty's not coming in, but Paul Thurston just did, as did his teammates as well. So very busy pit road this time by.
Yeah, as I was saying, if you're wondering what the strange noise coming out of my mouth was just a minute ago, that was Fahim Antonides actually just coming down pit road. He had to lock up the front brakes massively to try and get down to pit road speed limit. I wonder if he may have gotten a black flag for pit road speeding as a result of that, but he is back out on track right now, and we'll just have to wonder when Tom Ward is going to bring it down pit road. He's been devoid of draft throughout the whole of this lap. No one to work with him. That could work against him when he does decide to pit.
But it's also kind of cost Antonides because him and McFadden aren't together, but Antonides pulled a fairly big gap there on McFadden, so they are at least close enough on track, so we could see them join up, whereas Ward could be on his own here. We'll have to see how much fuel everyone's taken, of course, as well. Pitting much later means you'll take less fuel weight on board, Connery, so that could be an advantage. But as you mentioned, some people here could speed. That could be a critical issue. These skip barber cars do not have pit limiters. They're not that advanced. They've barely got a wheel. But we'll have to see who's leading this time by the line, as Tom Ward will come up the start-finish line. We'll keep an eye on him. Will he pit this time by the 09 car, the friction racing machine of Tom Ward? Is he going to look to the pit road? He's on that side. He will come down pit road. So Tom Ward going to decelerate himself down there. See what speed he gets to as he crosses the points line. He was at 45 miles an hour. What was our pit speed? That is, I believe, 45 miles an hour. So he was just on the numbers, Tom Ward. Perfect timing from him. Now we need to look back to Antonides and McFadden, see where they are. Actually, oh, Antonides will come past. He's on the start-finish line now. Antonides will come through. Tom Ward is not leaving. He's just left his box now. That is a hefty gap to Tom Ward for Fahim Antonides. So, a very reasonable gap.
And that's very telling, actually, in the pit stop time. Fahim Antonides was around about 1.5 seconds faster on the pit stop than pretty much anyone else. The usual pit stop time I'm looking at is around about 9.5 seconds, 10 seconds. Fahim Antonides, that was a 7.5 second stop, so he must have taken a lot less fuel than the rest of your drivers, so there may be some fuel saving required from Fahim Antonides in the late stages of this race. We'll have to wait and see.
Could be, but well, we said it was quite a big gap, but it turns out it's actually not, because McFadden's right behind Tom Ward, and a similar-ish gap between himself and Antonides, so that will make things very interesting. And now McGinty's still on the racetrack. He is, I believe, scored as your leader at the moment, although Tom Ward is because he crossed the line, but he does have to pit, so McGinty up in second place, scored right now, will have to pit. We'll have a look ahead of him, actually, because we've got some big racing there, and that's around, I believe, Simon Maltby's territory. It is. 20 car of Maltby in the back of this group here with the 717. The 667 of Chris Bassett. We've got Brian Loynes there. Mark Fisher involved in this group. This is for the bottom end of your top 20, but it's still very close fighting here, Connery.
Very close as they make their way through a big cut of pato right there, but they're just going to have to file it out single file. This is some of the closest fighting that you have on track right now. The pit stops have spread things out just a little bit at the front. I'm just looking to see how much Tom Ward is actually catching for He-Man. It doesn't look to be by much. We'll actually get a much more representative lap time next time by, as we see some battle in this between the 666 of Mick Watson and the 13 of Mark Turner. They almost went side by side coming down into the entry of the center S's. They're coming through Curva del Sol now. Will Mark Turner look to reply coming through the next left-hander at the end of the straight?
We'll have to see whether he does or not, but Mark Turner is currently in the lead of this little pair, so we'll have to see if he can hold off the car here of Mick Watson from behind. No, I was looking at the wrong driver. That's Mark Turner in the Apex car, Academy even, and the treble 6, the black and red machine, is actually Mick Watson, so they have swapped spots. We'll have a quick look back to Antonides, McFadden and Ward. Gaps are still reasonable. It's about 1.5 seconds between each of them at the moment, so this one is fairly equal. No one's really caught up as much as you might think, Connery. Lap number 10 here, Antonides is still leading, but when will Tom Ward get close enough to use that draft? He hasn't really closed the gap yet.
Yeah, we'll have to see next time by if he's definitively catching or not, but I can say that Stuart McFadden last time by in that third spot was actually 1/10 faster than your leader for He-Man Denider, so he may be getting some residual draft, can you say, off of Tom Ward. So I think the draft will end up closing this front pack back up a little bit as they come through the absolutely flat out final corner here into Interlagos.
Driver moving towards the top 10 is Paul Thurston. He's up in 12th place right now. He's currently chasing down the car of Matt Cox, who had just managed to get past him, so we'll see if they can collect that one back together. Looking up towards Patrick Fairbanks, 109. Behind Bill Fraser, the Scotsman. Can he try and find a way past? He looked to the inside, but Fraser taking a very defensive line there with that number 16 machine. There was nearly a bit of contact as he approached the pit road entrance, and Fairbanks will look to the inside. Will he dive for it? He will not. He stays on the tail there of Bill Fraser, not wanting to make a move too early. Being patient with it, however. Back to the front, as we'll keep the eye on this one quickly. It's Tom Ward, Mathers, and McFadden and Ward. No problems yet. Oh, we've got a blown motor. I think we have a blown engine. It's Tom Ward! Tom Ward has blown his engine again! Tom Ward is billowing black smoke. It's like the Exxon Valdez accident all over again. And that car not looking particularly healthy at all. He's dropping down the timing now. He's still got his engine just, but he's not going to last here, Connery. McFadden has gotten through to second place. Watson and Turner could end up being the battle for the final step of your podium. Ward is currently smoking up the entire track. Not a Bond car feature, that's a problem for Tom Ward, but he's trying to continue on. I don't think he perhaps realises how bad it is, but he is staying off the racing line at least.
Yes, he is, and that problem started when he was coming down into the Ciudad del Lago, and that is that descending left-hander just after the straight that you go on to after Curva del Sol. I think it's more of a gearing issue rather than a temperature heating issue. He just blew the engine because he was a bit too quick on the downshift.
Certainly did, but a mistake from Antonides. He's had to come back down pit road. This has changed everything. His nearest competition, Tom Ward, blowing his engine, lost Tom Ward the chance to fight with Antonides. It was Antonides' race to win. If he'd only taken a little bit more fuel, Connery, on his stop, he could have cruised to an easy win here. But as things stand, he has to come in for a second pit stop because he underfueled to get out ahead of Ward. Does this get any better? And Tom Ward is, for some reason, still on the racetrack. Tom Ward going through the centre S's. We'll have a look at him here. He's running down in 7th there in the 09. Just went through the centre S's on the track. Covering the circuit in smoke. I have no idea what he's doing. Why haven't the marshals flagged this guy? He is literally blocking visibility right now.
I think he is being shown the meatball flag, as we call it right here, Rachel. But
I think he's trying to make the end, actually. I think he's trying to carry on round to make the end before his 4 laps are up, and he is disqualified for not serving that meatball. I'm not sure he realises he's got to finish the race with a meatball. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's not the most sporting of behaviour.
It's not. But we could... sorry, I have to stop you, actually, Connery. We're going to have a first-time winner. Because Antonides had to make a second pit stop, and Tom Ward blew his motor Stuart McFadden in the 53 car is going to come through the final sequence of corners here at Interlagos, and we're going to have a brand new podium of looking like McFadden, Watson and Turner. This is huge, and Turner's gotten past Watson there for second place, but Stuart McFadden climbing up now the long curving start finish line here at Interlagos. First time winner in Monday Night Skippys in absolutely dramatic circumstances, but Stuart McFadden out of that final kink and across the line for the first time for him. Congratulations, Stuart McFadden, winner in Monday Night Skippys. Behind them will come Mark Turner and Mick Watson in third. A fresh new podium. Andy Cowie coming home fourth. Adcock in fifth, saving some good points there. What a dramatic end to this one. I don't think we could have predicted this one, Connery.
Yeah, the race must have opened up like the Red Sea there for most. Stuart McFadden, Tom Ward having engine issues, and Fahim Antonides having fuel issues that basically has gifted him this win. But you kind of have to say that it's kind of on merit as well. He was actually running in that front pack, so it's not like it was a very... I did just say gifted win there, but it might not have been because
he earned it. He was with those cars for the entire race. He was looking at a podium on merit alone, and by luck that ended up being the win. So absolutely fantastic there from Stuart McFadden. We're going to run through your final finishing positions. Coming home with the win for the very first time, Stuart McFadden with the victory here in round number 8 at Interlagos. Mark Turner will come home in second, with Mick Watson on the final step of your podium in third. Andy Cowie gets to fourth place, Stuart Adcock in fifth, Stuart Mathers, Patrick Fairbanks, Bill Fraser, Fahim Antonides and Gareth Doring round out your top 10. Some very new names up there in the top 10. Rest of those positions on your screen. Paul Thurston missing out by a single spot. We'll chat to him later, I'm sure. Connery, we're going to take a quick moment of a break and we'll be back with post-race interviews. So all of you watching at home, do not turn off. UK&I comedy interviews coming up next. Welcome back to Monday Night Skippys here, post-race coverage and the interviews with the drivers, of course, coming up for you next. And first up, we have a chance to chat to Fahim Antonides, who came home today in 9th place. After leading this race for multiple laps, Fahim, you took a little bit less fuel than you intended and you made a tactical boo-boo.
Yes, I think when I was waiting in the booth for you to interview me, I think you called me not a very clever bottom.
We're on RaceBot TV, so I can actually say it.
There's nothing wrong with not being a very... Okay, fine. Yeah, it's true. I was using this app and it's supposed to calculate how much fuel I need to take on, and as it happened, it was it hasn't obviously been fine-tuned yet, so I think I was about half a lap short, which is, ridiculous. It's only half a litre. Had I stayed another nanosecond in the pit, I would have taken that on and it would have been fine. So I know my pit stop was very quick, probably about a couple of seconds quicker than anyone else. But with a little bit of tweaking, I could have still taken on that fuel and come out 1.5 seconds quicker. So hopefully for next time I'll get it right. But unlucky for Tom. And, having to pit in twice and still be in the top 10, I'm quite happy with that.
Certainly was a successful result. At least top 10 points are great for you in the championship running. Fahim, thank you for joining us. Hopefully better luck next time, and hopefully you'll perfect the app.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, we're joined as well by Mark Turner, who came home second today. Fantastic result for you, Mark. You must be feeling great.
Yeah, excellent. Good for the team and everything, but a little disappointed. Didn't realise, obviously, Fahim had messed his fuel, so I don't know what happened actually, why it obviously suddenly dropped down. So then we saw Tom's engine go, and obviously I was working with Mick. We pitted at the same time just to try and get the jump because we thought it had been held up. But yeah, again, just need to practice pit stops more, Rachel.
Well, pit stop's not something we regularly do in this series, so I think it was a bit of a shock for the drivers as much as us in the booth.
Yeah, I think it caught everybody out. I think not one person come on and didn't say 1.3 fuel. So yeah, so it was.
Was this an Alan Patterson special?
I think it was. I think he had been practicing all week pit stops and everything, and then was hoping to get his first win, but it obviously didn't work. But but yeah, it was a good idea, I reckon.
Certainly shakes things up and makes it interesting. I think we should have pit stops every week. This definitely makes things more lively.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, a little bit more heads up with the practice would have been good. But yeah, I think we worked well. But yeah, it's just a shame. But well done to obviously Stuart on his first win, I think it was. So congratulations to him.
Well, certainly was indeed. Thanks for joining us, Mark Turner, coming home today in second place. And at the moment, our final interview is Paul Thurston. He came home today in 11th place. Another successful finish for you. It wasn't ended in a guardrail somewhere, so let's call that a bonus. Busy out on track today at Interlagos, and did you know how to actually drive down the slow bit?
Which particular slow bit?
The slow bit where they give you fuel. It's like a Shell garage, but
that bit.
But faster.
Oh, yeah. No, I actually practiced that in the practice session beforehand because I had notice of it. It must have been all when Alan told us earlier on in the session. It was quite amusing actually. Everybody who came in says, "Well, Michael, why have I only got 1.3 gallons of fuel?" The plaintive cry. It became a bit of a mantra. But yeah, no, that was a good race. That was fun. I mean, initially I was surprised to qualify 15th. I got a good tow off Baz in qualifying, and I was surprised to get up there. But then the quick guys behind me sort of just cruised past me in the early laps. I don't know if they were running 20 psi, and I was running 19s. It takes a little while for the tyres to come in. But then I got to about 20th. And sort of found the pace, and just started to overtake people. It's weird. I think I'm getting an allergy, and just started to overtake people and worked my way up. Right at the end, though, I thought I actually nicked 10th because I got past Matt after the line, and then I got past Tom, and I was 12th before then. So, but clearly I wasn't. I was 13th. I just can't do maths. That was good fun, though. I love it. Interlagos. It's a great track. I mean, people moan about, oh, it's just a draft track. Well, yeah, it's a draft track. It's brilliant. And then you've got the twisty bit around the back. I did get slightly worried when I was coming out of the pits alongside Chris, and we were going down the pit lane side by side, and then my spotter called, you're in the middle 3 wide in the narrow part of the pit lane. One of them was on the track, I'm assuming. But, yeah. That was interesting.
To end up in the middle 3 wide, especially at a track like Interlagos. I can imagine you might have been a little bit scared.
Well, I'm not scared, but...
Okay to admit it, Paul. There are sometimes. Especially when I end up 3 wide in Skippys, I normally am terrified, so don't worry, you're not alone.
Well, you're not used to not having half a ton of steel between you and the other cars, are you?
No, I'm more used to if I suddenly hear 3 wide, someone's about to be an idiot, but that's, beside the point. Anyway, we'll move on from my judging other racing drivers to...
but that's what we do.
It is true. But thank you for popping in again, Paul. We always like having a chat with you.
My pleasure, man.
I'm going to have a quick chat to your teammate, who wasn't quite as successful this week. Barry.
Yes,
down in
Rachel.
32nd.
I know.
First car a lap down.
Yes.
Who did you do wrong?
Well, none of my own doing, actually. the 4 cars in front were having a bit of a to-do, and they had a little pinball game between them. I drove right off track and just got collected. It was just unavoidable. And then I go into the pits because I think it was lap 5 or 6. I thought, no problem. I can get a tow and get me fuel. That saved the pit stop. I went into the pits, ticked the box got ticked, drove out. 2 laps later, you need to stop for fuel. You didn't put any fuel in.
Whoopsie daisy, not ideal.
Yes. No, and then it was just lost power, and it was just driving it to the end then. But yeah, the first couple of laps were good. There was lots of 3 wide, and I was in the middle every time, it seems. Turn 1, turn 3, turn 4 and 5. It was it was quite hairy, but we gave each other room, and there was no contact, so it was that was good. It's a pity it couldn't continue.
Unfortunately, these things sometimes come to a premature end. Anyway, thank you for joining us, Barry. We'll have a chat to you after we come off air, of course. I have stuff, endurance things to talk to you about, but we'll let you go for now. So we are going to have a quick chat to Stuart McFadden, who is today's winner. First time winner in the series, and I don't think I've seen your name in many races recently, Stuart.
No, probably haven't. This is only my second race in the series. I've done one at Imola, and the one here, so yeah, I'm absolutely ecstatic to win it in my second race. You don't understand. It's hard to put it into words.
Well, especially seeing as you're Scottish, all of our Scottish racers and commentators seem to have difficulty putting it into words, but those are mostly ones we can understand rather than being words, but I digress. Last Scotsman again in the series. We've got the likes of Bill Fraser, we've got Fraser Williamson, a recent first-time winner in the series, and now you. Is it something in the Iron Brew that makes you guys so quick?
I'm not too sure, but what a lot of people don't know is I'm only a 15-year-old. So
there's Fraser, so don't worry. It's all the young ones.
But yeah, but it's got to be something in the haggis as Iron Brew.
Most likely, but congratulations on a fantastic win for you for the first time in the series. One you actually deserved. It wasn't entirely based on retirements and problems with the drivers. You were in that top 3 for most of the race, so a deserved win here today at Interlagos. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just everybody forget me in the series, and also Scott Malcolm and Rick Scott for kind of helping me and giving me the draft and qualifying. I really, if I wasn't up where I was, then I wouldn't be up here. So a big shout out to them.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Stuart McFadden, our first time winner in tonight's round number 8 at Interlagos. A fantastically busy race. We had pit stops we weren't expecting, and we had drama, we had blown motors, we had double pit stops because people can't work out how to fuel. So it's certainly been an intense and an exciting one. And well, it is, of course, time to end here on Race Spot TV, as things will be ready for next week. We head off to Mount Panorama, where things will get a lot crazier, so please come back and tune in, same time next week. We go racing on a mountain. Well, we will watch them crashing on the mountain. They're going to pretend to race, so see you next week. Good night.